So you're a new contract faculty at Durham College. We know that you've been given a lot of information, you're probably juggling all kinds of stuff and feeling a little bit overwhelmed. This is why we wanted to give you this short video that provides you with kind of a checklist about the Durham College course outline. You can go back and look at it anytime that you want. The idea is we want you to know what each part is and what you can and cannot change on your course outline. So let's get started by looking at the overview. The first page here of the Durham College course outline is pretty obvious. It gives basically overview data about what this course is. What you're looking at here is the template that's available for Durham College faculty to create course outlines. You've been given one that has this information filled in. It'll have the course name and the year it's being delivered, what programs this course is being delivered to, its code. Perhaps if it's delivered through continuing education, it might have a second code. How many course hours are involved, how much it's weighted towards the student's grade point average, any prerequisite courses that tell you what knowledge the students must have mastered before they enter your course, and whether the course has co-requisites, which means other courses that they must be taking at the same time. It'll tell you who it was prepared by, and this is a person you might try and find if you need to learn more about the course before you teach it. It'll tell you whether students are going to be required to bring a laptop to the course or not, who authorized it, and then your information and any other teachers who are teaching the course that term will be on the bottom of that first page. So this is overview information that's very useful both to you and to the students. Let's take a look at the second page. This page will have the course description and the rationale. For you and for students, this really answers questions such as, what will this course be all about? How will it be taught? What are the big ideas contained within it? And in the rationale, why do I have this course in my program? How does it connect to other courses? How does it connect to my career goal in taking this program? Let's take a closer look at what comes next, the course learning outcomes. The course-specific outcomes are extremely important for you as a new teacher. You need to read them carefully and be aware that they really form a contract with the students, as the whole course outline does. And this is really something that you really can't be changing without big consultation with your program coordinator. The course-specific outcomes will tell us exactly what the students can expect to be measured on by the end of the course. They represent what are called complex cumulative behaviors. Each one might require you to teach and test small portions of it or steps or subtopics, but the course-specific outcomes represent the most sophisticated, most complex thing that the students should be expected to be evaluated on in the course. It's important that you provide opportunities for the students to be taught the material, for them to practice the material, and to be evaluated on the material in ways that are very close to the way that it's described in the course-specific outcomes. If you have any doubt about any of them or are not understanding how you should be addressing them, please do go and see your program coordinator or seek help from the specialists in the cafe. On the other side here, you'll see essential employability outcomes. These are outcomes that are mandated by our funding body, the Ministry of Training Colleges and Universities. All of our students must accomplish 11 essential employability outcomes by the time they finish their entire program. Notice that you really aren't expected to address all 11 in each course. If you find there are 11 outcomes in this section, that's probably a mistake, and you should go and talk to your program coordinator before proceeding. In general, however, if it's done correctly, there should be maybe 2 or 3 essential employability outcomes, or perhaps 4 or 5. And the idea is that these will also be taught and assessed in the course. The key word being assessed. If you have an employability outcome listed here, it implies that you are evaluating the students on that skill or ability. Again, if you have questions about how to do this, go to see your program coordinator, your associate dean, or some of the specialists in the cafe. The next piece that you'll find in a course outline is the sequence of instruction. This, of course, is very, very specific and really talks about how you're going to teach and how students are going to learn. It has the number of weeks listed. They ask you to list, or will already be listed for you, the intended learning, really the topics that the students are going to cover, resources and references that will be available for students or that they should bring to class, approximately how many class hours will be spent on each topic, how these reference to the learning outcomes from the previous page. Which learning outcomes and essential employability outcomes are you working on in each particular week? The intended learning activities should tell the student what kind of thing they can expect to be doing in class. Will they be listening to lectures, doing exercises, doing group work, taking a field trip, having a guest lecturer? All that would be listed in the intended learning activities. In the evidence of learning sections, the assessment is intended to tell the students what kind of formative feedback they'll be getting. In other words, feedback on practice in class, and not really about grades. They would not be getting marks in this column. That comes in this column here, the evaluation and weighting. And that's where you'll find listed the tests and assignments, etc., and how much of the overall course each one of those is worth. As always, if you have questions about this, by all means, speak to the program coordinator or your associate dean. This is the area of the course outline that's a little bit negotiable. There may be multiple sections of the course being taught by different teachers. They may have different class schedules or different groups of students, and this may vary a little bit. It's the one area that you really can vary without too much concern. But always let your students know what you're varying and what the new plan is each time. It's important that you don't vary too much from it and that you do what the course is intended to do so that all the courses in a program build in a coordinated fashion, that you're not teaching things that other teachers are already teaching, or you're not leaving out things that other teachers need you to teach in order for students to be successful. The next section in the course outline is the evaluation criteria. And again, this is extremely important. It's important that you don't change this because we don't want the students to be misled or to be able to appeal their grade because it turns out you didn't do what the course outline said. As specifically as possible, it will tell you the different ways students are going to be evaluated, whether they're tests or assignments or projects, field placements, clinical practice, all sorts of different ways, and the weighting of each thing so that they know how much each one is worth. In this way, the students will know how they're going to be measured in the course, and they can have confidence that they know exactly where their marks are going to be coming from. The next section is the required texts and supplies. Anything that students have to have in order to be successful in the class should be listed here. And you should make sure that you request a desk copy of any textbooks for the course from the publishers. The same with recommended resources. If there are recommended resources, then you should make sure you have a copy of them as well. The last few parts of the course outline are pre-printed for you, policies and expectations for the learning environment that come from the college. There's also a space for you to put course-specific policies and expectations so that students really know what the roadmap is, what they're expected to do, what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do. This section on what's called PLAR is Prior Learning Assessment and Recognition. We recognize that students learn outside of the college classroom. They may have prior experience in the workplace or other experience in their lives, which may make them eligible for credit in this course. Essentially, every course at Durham College is eligible for PLAR Challenge. If you have a student who inquires about this, be sure to learn more about the process. You may be asked to create a challenge test or assignment, or to mark a portfolio that a student presents in order for that person to get credit in the course. And you'll need to know more about the process if that happens. So make sure that you ask your coordinator or your associate dean. The general course outline notes are pretty much common to everybody at Durham College, and all of these are on pretty much every course outline. You should be familiar with them and point them out to your students so that they're familiar with them as well. In the end, it's important to follow the course outline as closely as possible so that you don't get a whole lot of nasty emails from your students and have very unhappy students. What you want is to follow the course outline successfully so that both the students and the team members, your team members in the program, will be very happy with you as a teacher. If you find you still have questions about the course outline or things you are unsure about, your first line of questioning is your program coordinator or your associate dean, and also there's a lot of help available in the Center for Academic and Faculty Enrichment in SW 101. Go ahead and come and see us anytime you have a question. Good luck with your teaching.